Hello and welcome to the season finale of Steam-Powered pecktec, and I'd like to thank you for joining me on this journey where we learn more about steampunk culture and steampunk interests. In this episode, we're going to speak with Penny Dreadful Productions, and more specifically, 3 members of that team. They're going to tell us about what Penny Dreadful can do for you, and also about their new project, Remnant. One of the members of Penny Dreadful Productions is the widely popular steampunk Boba Fett. My wife and I took our first trip to a convention in 2009 and we saw him in the parade. His costume was almost inspirational. It's a really interesting thing to behold, and I gotta say, it really inspired me to want to do steampunk years later when we went back in 2011 and decided to wear costumes for the first time. Now, we're kind of a big people and we didn't want to be chubby superheroes, so steampunk was a great choice for us. And I think John Strangeway, along with a lot of the other characters I saw, really inspired me to want to dive into that culture. So in a strange way, I have John to thank for my interest in, or extreme interest in steampunk, and probably Dr. Q to thank for all the interesting things he opened up to me about steampunk music. And I'd like to thank all of you for watching, and hopefully I'll be back after Dragon Con this year with more footage, and we can continue this saga for as long as we can. But until then, I'm saying goodbye. Enjoy the show. This is pecktec, and I'm here at Penny Dreadful Studios, and I'm speaking with Matt Silva.
How's it going?
Good. So, what's your part in Penny Dreadful?
I'm the co-founder of the company, Penny Dreadful Productions. I own it with another person named Aaron Bushko. I'm a makeup effects artist by trade. Aaron's a wardrobe designer, and a couple years ago we got together and decided we wanted to start a company that kind of uplifted artists in all genres to kind of create as much as possible.
So tell me, how did it all get started?
I met Aaron Bushko at Netherworld Haunted House. I actually just graduated. I'm pretty young, and when I was 18, I started working at this gigantic haunted house in Atlanta called Netherworld, and we became fast friends. We are both artists. She's also an actress, and at the time I was sort of figuring out what I wanted to do for a living, and we noticed that being an artist meant you had a lot of downtime, and we're both pretty busy bees, so we figured we'd just start doing stuff to keep ourselves busy when we weren't working, and over the course of about 3 years that turned into a company full of upwards of 20 people who were all just working on different projects that are paying, non-paying, whatever it takes to keep learning and growing.
So you actually have a wide range of clients. Can you tell me about what's the range in clients that you have?
Most of the people who hire the company are film and television people, whether they're buying props from us or they're renting or they're hiring out our service and having us out on set to do X, Y, or Z. And we've got everybody from Ager Dyer wardrobe people to doing makeup effects, sets, decorating. I mean, you name it. If it's in an art department, we've got someone on it. But we also do have some private companies that, like EDG, which is a company that, whether you know it or not, probably decorates your mall at Christmas time. You know, they put on a lot of the big stuff here in Atlanta. They put on a lot of parades and stuff like that. And then we have a lot of like just private commissioners. There's people who just want stuff. They want someone to custom make it, and they give us a call. About 85% of what we do is custom or original. We have like that 15% margin thereabouts for things that are either us replicating costumes for people that want it, but it's not readily available on the market, or they want modifications like steampunk Boba Fett. It's not original, but it's modified. It's customized, but it still stems from something that was already made. So I would say about 85% custom, 15% already exists.
Definitely, I have to say, Penny Dreadful Productions. They were the group that I commissioned to make the Fett, and now I work for them. I'm the PR media director, so that's how I kind of got into that gig, and that's why it's like there were a couple other steampunk Boba Fetts out there, so and I wanted to make sure that I didn't want to be known as, oh, that's the other one.
Right.
I wanted to be like, no, I want to do this.
I want to be
this right.
the steampunk Boba Fett.
So yeah.
Tell me, what would it cost to have something like that produced? Is there a rough estimate for if you had a full costume, head to toe, something like that?
Like John?
Yeah.
For like a Boba Fett? I mean...
Let's say you're recreating something maybe that exists, but you're putting that steampunk twist on it, or some post-apocalyptic twist on it.
I find artists have the hardest time pricing things, and sometimes it's because it's hard for them to figure out what they're worth, and then sometimes it's just hard because it completely depends on the amount of time. So I'll give you an example of what I mean. John asked us how much we would charge for a steampunk Boba Fett. I told him we could go as far as spending $5,000 to do an insane amount of things that were all custom, handmade, no like taking Nerf guns and modding them, and stuff like that. And then I told him that we could do a modification on a regular steampunk Boba Fett for about $1,500 to $2,000, and he ended up choosing to go closer to $2,500, $3,000 for some custom made stuff, custom tailored jacket, custom bucket to fit his head, and so. For us, what we find is the best is to kind of give people an option, low, medium, and high, and let them be able to figure out what they're willing to spend. But at least they understand what they're spending the money on.
So tell me, you guys had a successful Kickstarter campaign. You had asked for $2,200 and you got $4,092. So Tell me about why did you create that campaign? What was it? What were you going for?
We were working on a project that we've been pushing forward for about 8 and 9 months now, called Remnant, and it's a multimedia platform for our company. So it's original IP that our company has made that can be put into pretty much any media outlet, whether it's costumes, whether it's literature, illustration, video, whatever. We had done a few things and Remnant had been getting a lot of attention, so we decided that we wanted to try doing some video.
That's like basically it's a series of 6 shorts that will eventually tie up together. They're showcasing each character, and then there's the tie-in at the end. So
how long will it be once it's finished?
Total, I mean, it's maybe like at most probably about a half hour worth. We started, actually, a company, Brothers Young Productions, we worked with, they're good friends of ours. They came to us in November after they saw Remnant at DragonCon. They said, look, we love this idea and concept, this world that PDP came up with. We want to help you bring it to, more into the light. So they came to us with the idea of doing these shorts. They wrote the scripts, and we started Kickstarter in the beginning of, or right after Christmas, I want to say. It ran for 15 days. The goal was $2,200. We raised $4,100, and we started filming. We filmed 6 days, and we've got now scheduled. The first one just showed here Friday night. Next one is at MomoCon, and then the next one will be at Steamfest, as well as the Florida Steampunk Exhibition. And then we have plans for other conventions. And so at each one we release, shortly after they will be online. They will be on YouTube, so everybody can see if they weren't at the convention. So
we started a Kickstarter to try to raise money for the bare minimum assets that we needed to get it done, with sets, food, equipment. We asked for $2,200, not really realizing how much we needed. One location not far from here was $800 to shoot for, just for the day. And
wow.
So we said we were getting closer to our goal, and we said help us raise an additional $800, and we'll be able to get this amazing set. We gave photos. So the Kickstarter was really just for us to be able to produce something for people's enjoyment. So I think part of why it was successful is because everyone was working for free and really earnestly, aside from the we had a joke we're going to throw a big cocktail party, but it's like really earnestly everything was to just produce the videos for people to see. No one was getting paid, no one's going out and buying yachts. It was just what we needed to make the project happen. We did it kind of strategically. We made the teaser, but then we have these 5 videos. They're really one of them is a double feature. It's like closer to 6-7 minutes, and we didn't have the ability to tell really good stories in 3 minutes.
Right.
And we didn't really have. We had too much stuff to show for just 5 videos. So we decided to kind of make a sort of a mini series. You see Walking Dead, the first season of The Walking Dead is very short, and it kind of just gives you a taste of what it is. And so we kind of had the same theory of, well, we were able to raise the money for these videos. Let's make it so that way they're exciting. There is a story there, but it leaves you desiring more every video. So in some ways, it's almost like there are closer to 5 teasers.
Yeah.
But we're hoping that through producing all the videos, which they're all shot, and we are just continually editing them as we can.
So you're already in post-production, just
right.
working on the tail
just
end.
every day trying to work towards getting the next video out. But our hope is that if people like them enough, that we may be able to raise funding, whether it's through Kickstarter or through independent funding, to start doing a mini-series where we can start actually telling a story. Sometimes you have to be careful about self-censorship. You might be really excited about this thing, you might think it's the best thing ever, but everyone else on the planet might be not so excited about it.
Sure.
So part of the reason we did the videos as sort of introductions / teasers is because we wanted to see if people were even interested, if there was a point to try to do more. We weren't going to invest all the time and money to try to make a bunch of videos that no one would enjoy.
That makes sense. I think the Kickstarter was a good justification. You definitely had that level of interest there. How did you come up with the incentives? Was that the hardest part?
We had asked some people who had done successful Kickstarters before, and we asked them what they did. And it's funny, in the grand scheme of things, 2,200 and even the 4,000, almost 100 that we raised is not that much by standards for Kickstarter. I mean, there's some projects on there that go for years, and they're trying to raise millions of dollars.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, and hundreds, if not thousands, of investors who are putting in money, and the incentives are bigger. Incentives are like percentages from the film. So for us, we wanted to give incentives for people to donate because we didn't want this to just be give us your money, and we'll produce this thing we want to produce. So part of it was, from the get-go, invest $1 and you get your name put in. Because you were at the very basic fundamental level a part of this shoot. You helped us make this, even if you just gave us $1. I mean, trust me, $1 gave us the ability to get closer to getting one piece of equipment or feeding one extra person on set.
It's a soda for an extra.
Right. I mean, it's something, and it's something to keep people happy. Because more than the project itself, we're really invested in process and people. We want to make sure that the process is good and that it keeps people happy. We don't want to destroy relationship and friendships over products. Products fall short on the meaning of life scale. So as far as the other incentives go, we wanted to give away copies of DVDs so that people could watch it at their leisure. Art from the show, or from Remnant. There was some giveaways, like a photo shoot. And then we did have the one big joke of, if someone really wanted to give us $1,000, we'd let them go on a date with Steampunk Boba Fett. So,
did anybody take that?
No, we had one person who almost did. They were apparently $250 away from doing it. So yeah, which is both hysterical and a little frightening. But we did a lot of stuff on there to be well humored. I think the worst thing on the planet is artists who take themselves too seriously.
Sure.
But sometimes humor will come back to bite you in the butt. You joke you're gonna throw a big fancy cocktail party and someone takes you seriously and talks bad about you, and you're just like, really, guys?
Suddenly there's an angry person there wanting their cocktail party. What about the extras were?
Yeah, being able to get in as an extra was one. Getting a featured part was another. I think.
Do you worry when you do that somebody's going to, tally up the money, but they're really bad on camera?
You know what? I find that oftentimes, especially with extras or people who are there just for the love of it, like anybody else, they just need good direction, and you just need to understand who they are. Say they're not the greatest actor, don't give them a speaking line. Let them do something they're good at. If they're if the guy who gave you the money to be in the film is a blacksmith, well, maybe you figure out a way to put that in there because it's what he does best.
That makes sense.
So
just look angry. You bang on that piece of metal.
yeah,
there.
yeah. I mean, I'm not an actor, but I really, I'm really well versed at wearing, suits, creature suits, and prosthetics, and it's because that's the nature of the business I do is working with the anatomy of the body. So if you put me on camera and you ask me to say a line, it's probably going to be awful. But if you put me in front of a camera and ask me to do things that require specific control over the body, I'll have an easier time because it's related to what I do. So I mean, that's kind of the same with you. You have people who may not actually, you don't really know them and you don't know what their acting capabilities are. You just find out what they're good at and you utilize it for the film.
So what's next for Penny Dreadful?
What's next for us? Well, we're going to keep beating this Remnant horse until it's dead.
You've got a big move happening too. You're getting more space.
We do. We found out about a month ago that they're going to blow up our building, and the city who we rent from wants to move us to a location really nearby, which is great. The city likes us a lot, and we love the city, so we're happy that we're still able to stay in. And it's other than just having to utilize the strength to move everything out of this building, because we have a lot of stuff. There's really no negatives about it. It's more space, it's better for what we do. It's got a better foot traffic area for bringing people into our store, and so it's exciting. We're excited about it, and we're gonna continue to push Remnant through the entire year into Dragon Con. We've got some big plans for Dragon Con.
I'll be there too. I look forward to seeing it all come together.
Cool.
Thanks a lot for talking to me.
No problem.
How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Penny Dreadful.
Yes, Penny Dreadful Productions.
I was actually just there yesterday talking to Matt.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Yeah, Matt's inside right now. We're doing the screening of the third Remnant video.
Oh, it's happening right now?
Yep, happening right now.
Okay.
So we showed it down in Florida earlier today, or last night, I'm not pretty sure which. And now we're giving you guys what's the word for it? Giving you guys a special sneak peek.
Yeah. So what do you do for Penny Dreadful?
Well, I'm the project manager, so any commissions that we have going through the shop, I handle all of the different commissions, and I'm the liaison between the artist and the customer. And then I also work as a sculptor and as a painter in the art shop.
That's great. And what's your name?
My name is Haley.
Haley. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
My first con I ever went to was Dragon Con 2009.
You were there at the debut. That's awesome.
And I said, that was your first time wearing the costume?
Yeah.
I saw you walking down in the parade.
Okay.
My wife and I came down for the parade, and I was blown away. I was like, that's awesome. That's just my favorite thing ever. And it's been a while because I was just like, oh, that's cool, Steampunk Boba Fett. But you keep coming up over and over.
It's like a bad habit, right?
And your Facebook page always has the most hilarious things on it. It's truly entertaining.
I just borrow from everybody else. It's all memes. It's like I have a good big playground because I can take from Star Wars and I can take from steampunk. And then I can just throw in my own nerd, pulls. Like I just recently posted the clip from Clerks 2, which dealt with the Lord of the Rings Star Wars argument.
Right.
It's funny,